spot. 2, you let that money grow with compound interest. 3, then you find a place for that money to go where it can work for you. 4, and then every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you join me for a wealth webinar.
I'll do it.
It's free. Plus, if you join me now, you'll get my free ebook that teaches you to get all the money back for every car you buy, drive, and own. So take advantage of this opportunity, and I'll see you there.
Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact, and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside. Hey, you need to become your own bank. And it's as simple as changing one thing, and that is where your money goes first. I mean, think about it. Household debts in this country are at all-time highs. You got tons of market volatility. You got the potential for Social Security running out of money. You've got global uncertainty, political divide, and you have to figure out where you're going to put your hard-earned savings. I mean, this is one of those times in history where the rich are getting richer, and it is time to learn the secrets of the wealthy. But here's the good news. Every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I put on a free webinar where I teach you how to take back control of your money by teaching you how to become your own bank. So click the link below and let's get started.
So let's go into the app, because the app was created after a dating site, believe it or not. So people with money and people that need money. Phone, swipe left. Ooh, I like that one. Swipe right. You want to go on. If you got money, you want to swipe left through all the deals. When you find one you like, boom, you're connected. How much more difficult does this really need to be? This isn't rocket science. They want you to think it is because they want control of your money. It is time to take back control of our money. I want to invite you to a free interactive webinar that we're doing to teach you how to get prepared for what's about to happen and how you can grow, preserve, and protect your wealth and get it ready for a recession or maybe the next Great Depression. So all I need you to do is click the link below. You're not going to want to miss this with all this stuff going on. Are you sick of having your money lying around not doing anything? Well, we've got the solution for you. PrivateMoneyClub.com. Back to you, Chris. So that's what it is. Private Money Club was created for you and for all of us. So I've got something special. Since you're here, you're listening to us talk to you about the infinite banking concept, I wanted to make an offer. Private Money Club is something that will benefit each of you, but we've got what's called the Accelerator. The Private Money Club Accelerator is a coaching program that takes together the knowledge that you'll need to be your own bank and puts it together with the opportunities in Private Money Club so that now you learn and apply the knowledge. Check it out. We got a very special offer for you to be part of the next Accelerator coaching program and get you into Private Money Club so your money starts working for you.
Hey everybody, it's Buff Finance Guy here, ready to show you how to make some serious gains. But not only in the gym, with your wallet too. Most people put their money in the bank doing absolutely nothing for them. But I'm gonna show you how it doesn't have to be that way. So take Andrew here. His money has just been sitting lazy in the bank. But all he has to do is change one thing, and that's where the money goes first, and everything changes. Just change where your money goes first, silly.
Wait, just one change?
Yeah, that's it. Instead of sending it to the bank, you send it to your very own banking system. Your money can grow and get stronger, just like me.
It's time for Money School TV. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth.
He's been on the fence to come to PMC Money Take. I'm telling you right now, you're missing out on a treat.
This is the ultimate watering hole for lenders and borrowers.
If you've got decent deals, you'll find the funding for it.
The networking here has been fantastic.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Tremendously beneficial.
Oh my gosh, so many people to network with.
First day, I probably met 5 or 6 people. They show me ideas, I show them ideas. We're actually on stage about 20 minutes ago, and since then, I've already had about 20 people reach out.
There are several people that I probably will be doing business with.
I have like 15 private lenders ready to fund my deals. The people here are amazing and so welcoming.
You walk in, everyone greets you right away. No one is a stranger.
It's just an amazing and comfortable place to be.
There's so much stuff that I've been able to learn that I didn't know. I've had aha moments over and over again.
They talked about normal rates of return, not 6%, we're talking about 10%, but in a way that's ethically sound and stable. It's full disclosure, but helps walk you through everything. They even talk about it on stage of like, we've already made the mistakes, so here we are, and we're teaching you to not make the same mistakes. You get to learn from us, you get to just follow our direction and just see what you can do. I've gotten great things out of the virtual events, but there's no comparison to actually coming here, experiencing the energy, and getting to meet all of the people. Everyone is here looking to grow in some capacity. Being in this environment, it allows you to feed on that and foster that.
During the event, they had a lender-borrower meet and greet, which is pretty cool.
It's different when you can spend some time, have a meal together, hang out, joke around. The people are just a blast.
It's so much fun.
The community of the Money Tank PMC, the whole crew with Chris, Stephen, Jonah, everybody, and Joe, they've all helped me out. It's been changing my life.
You're gonna learn something, you're gonna meet someone, and it's definitely gonna make a big difference in your business. Not by a little bit, but by a lot.
I mean, you could stay stuck thinking you can do it on your own. There's a lot of people that I talk to is their issue, and then they come here, and I talk to them a year later, and they've grown so much just by coming to this event.
Started at $15,000 in credit card debt. As of today, I have $550,000 out in private lending. That's what this teaches you.
I tell people all the time, you have to get in the room to be around the like-minded people.
Go. It's worth it. Just come. Do it for yourself. Do it for your business.
Take action. You got to do it.
Come to the event. You don't want to miss it.
Well, the biggest thing I hope that people get is something that they can actually apply in their lives. You know, that's the biggest thing for any of these events that we want. We want people to leave here not just riled up, not just excited, but actually going out and doing something that'll put them in a better financial situation, help their family. And for the speakers, my goal is that they go out and they impact the audience and bring something the audience never had exposure to that allows them to then fill in that piece that they're looking for. I'm going to be talking about more lease options. I'm going to be talking about equity shares. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of fun stuff today. Because again, I'm not here to teach about how to do those deals. I'm here to teach about how to invest in those deals.
Filled with individuals that are like-minded, that are at the top of their craft, they're at the top of their game. And for anybody that's an attendee, it's just a mind-blowing experience.
It's almost going to be hard to speak anywhere else but here because it was such a great experience. I felt like, I don't know. It was amazing. Nothing less than amazing, literally.
At the PMC Money Tank event, which is an epic event that we're putting together that does one thing and one thing only, makes everybody money. It brings people with money together with people that need money. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You just smash them together and everybody wins.
Wednesday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Going live!
All right, what's up, Mr. St. James? How are you?
Hey,
Look at the new studio. Looking good over there, Nagy.
Yeah,
How's
man.
it going?
Can you hear me all right? Is everything sounding good? I got the AC blasting. It's a little echoey in here. So
It's just a little echoey, but that's nothing we haven't heard from before. That way you get to hear your own voice even better. So
yeah,
that's
man.
not so
So I
bad.
got it. It's a wide open space right now. I got to get some stuff on the walls, get maybe a a nice rug down, maybe put a little pool table in here, break up that sound a little bit. But we are live and direct from the new South Florida BYOB office. So it feels
really good. Okay.
That's right.
Nice,
That's right.
nice. We're in South Florida. Are you like in the Keys right there? You're halfway to the Bahamas.
I live up in northern Palm Beach County, right in the Jupiter area. So right now, I got to work on the background. Just got one of the nice, PMC signs back here. But we're gonna rock and roll, James. I know we got a lot to get into today, man.
Absolutely, we've got a lot. Listen, this week on WTF, we're going to be breaking down all the moves that the stock market made, just really briefly, and we're going to be talking about what's going on with Trump and China. We're going to be talking about Nvidia and Microsoft. We're going to be talking about some indicators that we're seeing into the current economy and what direction we're actually having. But today is the 29th, but did you know that the 28th is actually a pretty historic day there, Nagy?
Oh, yeah, October 28th?
October 28th. See, what happens historically for the past 50 years, and every October 28th is one of the biggest days for the stock market. But do you know what happened actually back in 1928 on October 28th?
No.
It was actually the precursor, the day that most people cite as the day the Great Depression actually happened.
Okay.
So we're looking at 50 years of amazing growth every day. October 28th, you can almost set your clock to it where these stocks are doing these tremendous gains. I believe that Apple hit a $3 trillion market cap. Excuse me, Airbnb is still down. Palantir actually went down yesterday. But overall, it's the S&P 500 went up by 0.2%, which is actually pretty significant, all things considered, for October 28th. So for those of you who are in the market actively, congratulations if you got some wins, and so sad if you had a few losses. But you know what? Stay in control of your money. So definitely looking forward to today's episode here, Nagy.
Yeah, it's interesting because we look at all this historical data and all the trends and all the cycles, market cycles, and it just feels like everything right now is just like defying reality, defying history, defying these trends. And can that continue? I know we're going to look at some data today around debt, around foreclosures, around the markets, but it keeps going and going and going. But as they say, what goes up must come down. Now, let me ask you this, St. James. Do you think because Halloween, October 31st, these depressions start on the 28th, leading into Halloween, spooky day. Is that a coincidence, or is there something there?
It's quite possible. I mean, we're going to have to make sure all of our ghosts and goblins are in a row, because, I mean, if you're scared going into Halloween, you might be really scared with what's going on with the economics moving forward. But if you have your money shored up to take advantage of these amazing opportunities that may be coming up as well, this could be a day of joy and rebuttal and all those things for you as well. We're in rejoicement. So it's really all a matter of perspective. I hope that obviously we don't have, this is not a precursor to the Great Depression or anything of that nature. I hope that this is a period where we actually come together and make some serious things happen in terms of the economy. And we're going to go over that so that people at home, all the amazing people in WTF, are going to be able to make that choice for themselves.
All right, cool, man. Well, let's get into it. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start at the top here. If you want to kind of get into this, I'll pull these articles up so we can share as we're talking through them here.
Wonderful. While Nagy's actually bringing up, we're going to be talking about the economy. More specifically, a lot of stocks. As you guys know, earnings season was in the past for the past 2 weeks. So that's why you see some of these huge jumps in the stock market, S&P 500, Russell 2000, and every index in between. Some of the biggest winners actually were media giants such as like Warner Brothers Discovery. As many of you guys know, you've been subscribed to Warner Brothers. They own licenses and brands such as HBO. All of your Batman movies and all the DC movie universe is all held by Warner Brothers Discovery. And a lot of people were actually quite concerned when it came to Warner Brothers Discovery, because they said, why are these two completely separate brands merging together And why are they additionally going to be putting themselves up for sale? And one of the biggest people who are interested in buying is actually the Ellison family, who has been really accumulating a lot of money and consolidating a lot of media power over these past few months. And I don't know about you, Nagy, but whenever one family is in talks to buy TikTok and is tied to ChatGPT and $300 billion worth of deals and temporarily became the richest person on paper in the world, I get a little bit concerned when they're able to have access to so much more media. One thing that we have to consider is this, even though we've been talking a little bit, an awful lot about stocks, is the stock market is not a reflection of reality. What do you think there, Steve?
Yeah, man. It's definitely disconnected from the economy. It's definitely disconnected from the way people feel. The majority of the country now, obviously, there's a lot of people that have done well in life that are retired now for the last several years. Their home values have doubled and tripled. Some of them have cashed out, moved into smaller homes, and have a nice nest egg. That stock portfolio has just boomed and boomed and boomed over the last 15 years. And so they're feeling great, but that's not the majority of Americans. I know we're going to get into that today with the government shutdown and what's going to happen with SNAP benefits being cut off and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, this stock market seems to not be a reflection. And, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, for one family, it almost feels like a reality television show, doesn't it, to a means? I mean,
isn't that the irony? And no slight against anybody. I mean, we have a reality person who's in office. We have people who are owning all these media companies. And I know for many people in WTF, they have a little bit of reluctance to actually believing everything that they see in mainstream media and really taking the time to be educated for themselves, which is why you're tuning in here today. And thank you, everybody in WTF world. I don't like these companies having this level of consolidated power. We understand that there is a level of government influence that comes with that much money, especially with the Ellison family. Thanks for throwing that on there, Steve, because it's concerning. And now they're opening up their Warner Brothers Discovery is going to be opening up their bids to other companies as well to make a bid. And I feel personally that the company that might actually purchase Warner Brothers Discovery is going to be Apple TV. Now, here's why. Apple TV is an accessory to Apple. They don't need Apple TV, but you know what? It's good branding. It's akin to basically how a young woman or a woman will be carrying around a purse. It doesn't necessarily define her net worth, but it's a good statement of her net worth. And Apple TV has ran up a number of major hits with a lot of their TV shows. So why not add their biggest competitor? Because Apple TV wants to be considered luxury television. So why not buy their biggest competitor in luxury television, which is HBO? Now you have two of the biggest brands of high quality content of television, and they're just going to be able to run with it there. Discover obviously is going to have a major following as well. But let's look into some of the other companies that have had earnings data. We also have NVIDIA, no surprise there, because these companies have just been circling all this money amongst each other between OpenAI, ChatGPT, NVIDIA, and Oracle. So no surprise that they've had massive returns. And a big brand that is making a comeback is Boeing. Now, you may remember in the beginning of the year, Nagy, I think we were all a little bit afraid to be on Boeing planes. Is that correct?
that was the running joke, at least, right?
If it was Boeing, we weren't going. Now, were we? Because, I mean, let's face it, doors were falling off from the sky. Wheels were falling off over here. I think one pilot tried to fly the entire plane upside down. And in lieu of these government shutdowns with massive delays, akin to basically peak travel season over the holidays that are going on right now as a result of the government shutdown, it's surprising to see Boeing making this tremendous comeback, but it's basically because, and remember, the devil's always in the details. Boeing stock was tanking as of last year, and thanks to this administration, they put in a little bit more money into this, and Boeing took the necessary steps to actually restructure and really optimize how they do their business. And now we're seeing a great comeback within the Boeing industry. And of course, your big tech stocks, Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, all of those stocks are doing extremely, extremely well. And I think that they deserve their place in the actual market, but we have to be very, very concerned because anytime you have a concentration in one major sector, it has historically led to tremendous falls. We've seen that. What was it in 85 with the savings and loan crisis? Is that correct there, Steve? Check me if I'm wrong. And in even industrial sectors. So all of you guys who are big finance nuts like myself, please be careful. Be aware of these things. Don't, this is not financial advice. This is just, words coming from a guy who, really likes to take a look at things around. Just be aware of what's going on here. Who missed though, Steve? Target. Target missed the target. When was the last time you stopped at Target, Steve?
Target missed the target. I don't shop at Target personally.
Are you a Walmart guy? What type of guy are you?
Amazon.
You're an Amazon. Oh, there we go.
Anything I don't have to go into a store for, I'm good with. So yes.
That's great. That's so there we go. We see Nagy is a Prime person. And please, in the comment section, let us know if you're watching here below. Are you a Target? Are you a Walmart? Are you an Amazon guy? Are you a person who's just like, you know what? I just scrounge. I make my own goods. I live out in a farm somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and I don't go to any of these places. I'm very curious to see what our demo is saying here. I know there was a lot of pushback with Target after they really publicized their DEI stance. And ironically, Walmart actually did the same thing. But because so many different groups mobilized and put a bullseye on Target, Target faced a lot of shopping shortcomings with that, even though they reorganized it. So it wasn't technically DEI, but they didn't run the ire of this administration's efforts and saying, hey, look, if you're still doing DEI, then we know that we're going to put you under an increased scrutiny. So a lot of people went into saying, you know what, I'm not going to stop at Target, and Walmart picked up all of that particular audience. And Walmart also has one of the biggest shopping sites that is a major competitor to Amazon. So that's how that little shopping trifecta actually works out. Netflix stock declined, but in terms of the future of media and entertainment, Netflix is by far and wide the biggest media distributor out there, second only to one platform. And what do you think that platform is, Steve?
No clue.
YouTube. YouTube eclipses Netflix by far and wide. So it goes YouTube in terms of media, then Netflix, then everything else in terms of all the streaming and media giants. And some people say, well, maybe, Netflix or YouTube need to buy each other. This is the things that you want to pay attention to, because where we get our media, how we get our media, and who are the major players affects us every single day, because people, let's face it, generally watch television every single day. Other losers were Mattel, Tesla, and I could see why Tesla is going to lose some earnings or exactly have a negative outlook, because the federal EV credit has cut short. So even though they had a record Q3, as the federal federal rebate for EVs has come to an end, people are expecting the price of Teslas to go down and actual retail units to go down as well. So congratulations, Steve. You look like you got a Tesla at a good time.
Yeah, the Tesla, I was reading something that a lot of people are investing in Tesla right now, not because of Tesla, but because of what they are doing with AI.
Absolutely.
The data they collect. I mean, it's pretty fascinating.
Exactly. And we've seen Elon kind of move away from saying that Tesla in itself is an automobile company, but we are a technology company. I mean, obviously, we understand that the Starlink system, which I think is an absolutely amazing feat of human engineering, is separate from Tesla. But what happens when all these things get integrated under one umbrella, akin to like what we see with General Electric? Or will these entities be separate? Will SpaceX or Starlink be completely separate from the Tesla brand? And what is Tesla going to be doing with its future in robotics? One crazy idea was this, Steve. Instead of us sending dozens of astronauts into space to walk on the moon, we've already walked on the moon, Steve.
Have we?
Well, some would argue that we have. Some would argue that we haven't. Stanley Kubrick may have directed the entire lunar landing. But what if Elon Musk was the first person to land robots, semi-autonomous robots, on the moon? Think about how historic that would be in terms of benchmarks as how we've evolved as a society. Of course, yes, let's face it, it's also quite daunting. Oh no, we've got robots inching one step closer to this being the T-1000s and 800s and iRobot and every other robotic dystopian type of media that we've ever seen. but it also shows how strong we've come across as a species and as in terms of our ingenuity here. So that's very cool. So Chris, thanks for mentioning that. Resale value for EVs is very low. Best not to buy any. You know what? That's a very great point, and that's a sentiment that's been explained to a lot of people. And let's kind of peel back the curtain on that. One, if you bought during the pandemic, you were massively overbuying. A Hummer EV, which was MSRP around $89,000 before government rebate, was retailing for as much as $130,000. So now when you take into account, A, that it's no longer the great pandemic, two, that the government rebate is down, and of course, regular depreciation, and of course, there's less pressure from the federal government to incentivize people to buy EVs. Yes, you are seeing lowering prices. And Teslas as well have lowered prices consistently. So as a result, some people are like, hey, you know what? With all these price drops, I don't know what my EV is going to be worth. And we also have people who are saying, you know what, batteries, I don't know what the longevity of this battery is going to be. But let's reverse engineer this, Nagy. If I brought two vehicles to you and I said one vehicle doesn't make a lot of noise, one vehicle actually has fewer moving parts, and you could charge it up at home, and it gives you a range of anywhere from 300 to 400 miles, versus another that is going to has over 300 moving parts, emits a number of toxic gases, and you can only fuel it up if you go to a third-party fueling station. On that basis, at its core, which one seems to be the safer play for a consumer to buy, Steve? What would you say?
First one.
The first one, the EV. And ironically, when we first developed vehicles, a lot of them actually were electric powered. So we're kind of seeing this integration of EVs into our market. And yes, their final price point does need to be met. And thankfully, Elon is going to be making even lower and cheaper models of his storied Model 3 for people to purchase. And eventually, when these autonomous cars come through, whether we like it or not, we know that autonomous vehicles are going to be a vehicle of the future. We're seeing them in Austin, Texas, San Francisco. Steve, are you going to get into an autonomous taxi? Are you going to get into a Waymo?
I would, yeah.
Okay, they're not too bad. We actually had testing for autonomous taxis here in Buffalo, New York. We had, I believe it was Waymo. They had the autonomous Jaguars, and what they wanted to do is they wanted to see how they performed in a cold weather situation. But one bad thing happened. We didn't get very much snow. So as a result, they got all this data, and they're like, well, we kind of see how this thing would perform in snow. So go figure. The one time Buffalo snow could have benefited us, it didn't. But I'm going to give it a shot. Lynn, hybrids are better. Definitely understand that. That's pretty cool. And Lynn says, my mom worked on the space program, so yes, we walked on the moon. Steve, I don't know, man. It looks like it's your call, man. I don't know. Maybe we didn't make it to the moon there. All right. Finally, IBM and AMD. IBM jumped almost 8% on October 24th after announcing a successful collaboration with AMD on a key quantum error correction algorithm. AMD rose 7.5% on October 24th on the news of this IBM partnership. Now, a lot of people were worried about IBM because their consulting business is kind of faltered. It's kind of stymied. But with this basically kind of partnership with AMD, which is the second largest American chip manufacturer, we're seeing a lot of movement in this space. And let's face it, when we have quantum computing meeting artificial intelligence, kaboom, we are looking at an investor's wet dream for key sake. So that's pretty interesting there.
Hey, James, speaking of Bill Gates, did you see he came, or IBM, did you see Bill Gates came out and kind of reversed his opinion on climate change this week?
What did he say? No, if you have something that can show that, I'd love to see that.
I just briefly saw it yesterday. I'll just pull up the news. I haven't had a chance to do a deep dive in this yet, but let me just pull up the news. So you can see across the board, why is Bill Gates tone policing on climate change? Will Bill Gates' strategic pivot shake up climate policy from the New York Times? Bill Gates softens climate disaster approach. Says, let's see what CNBC says. Says strategy needs to shift. In a letter published Tuesday, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates said too many resources are going towards climate change instead of issues like welfare and poverty. I didn't pick that position because everybody agrees with this. I think intellectually the right answer. So kind of interesting. I mean, he's been one of the biggest climate change kind of pushers now for a couple decades. So it's interesting to see him come out and soften his approach a little bit, I guess.
I do see that. And here's something, a key thing is that maybe he's trying to put some of the ducks in a row. Maybe he's not going to be a climate change denier. Maybe what he's saying is, look, we've got really big issues. And when we were, financially stable and society was very good, quote unquote, also, we need to take a root of what is our most urgent need right now. And we know that we are at a financial impasse right now where we do need to have a quote unquote war on poverty. We do need to find ways for the middle class to be left up. It doesn't look like he's necessarily abandoning what his stance is on climate change, but I also want to add an additional caveat. We know that Microsoft is also going to be building data centers. We know that data centers require massive amounts of energy as well. As a matter of fact, it's Microsoft that is reopening 3 Mile Island, the nuclear facility, not too far from New York City. So maybe he knows that if he is opening up, or if he's tied to, because he's no longer the CEO of Microsoft, but he has a lot of stock within it, he knows he's under massive scrutiny to say, climate change on one end, but also be demanding massive amounts of power. A lot of it is going to be dirty power, coal and all these other places, all these other types of power, and of course, nuclear. And he knows that he can't marry those two particular stories together unless he kind of walks back on his climate change stance. That's my tin hat, 100-foot view from all of this. It's quite possible. I know, again, we didn't get a chance to deep dive, but I'm very interested to see how this goes, because that's a major, he's definitely been, him and Greta Thunberg have been major proponents of climate change.
Well, she switched now to the whole, anti-Israel thing. So anyway, to me, the climate change thing is just it's the story of the girl that cried wolf.
Okay.
I've heard my entire lifetime that the world's going to end if we don't do this or do that, or the glaciers are all going to melt and sea levels are going to rise, and it just never seems to happen. And so to me, it's just people are like, okay, seems to not be happening in our lifetimes, at least. Maybe it's not a subject we want to, a hill we want to die on. So
well, no, we can glance on this, Steve, because it's important for us to exchange ideas about this. Has climate change happened? We know that.
Oh, absolutely.
Florida's gotten hotter. I mean, you could just see a reflection in energy consumption off of that per capita. Not we're going to say en masse, because we know more people have moved to Florida. More on that later. But also, we could say what can we look at that is an actual valid empirical measurement of climate change? Have a lot of glaciers been falling apart? Have we seen massive snow drifts? We have seen, if we pulled up two different coastlines over a span of 100 years, they are going to look massively different. Think coastlines, by Florida, by Ireland, in the UK. They have been different, but if you do not trust said data sources, it's easy to say that none of this is true. One thing that I think that we can agree upon is that we do have an influence on the environment. And here's the thing, Steve and I are both Gen X, and you may remember, Steve, remember how they said no more aerosol cans?
Yeah.
You remember? Now, why do they say no more aerosol cans?
Something to do with putting holes in the ozone layer.
Holes in the ozone layer. But now, remember, there was a massive hole in the ozone layer over Antarctica, of all places. Why was it in Antarctica? I don't know either. But since we've stopped using aerosol cans in the 80s to the 90s, because, we used to spray our Aquanet and all of our hair care products. You may remember the 80s was the decade and the era of huge hair metal. Everything was big hair, ultra hold. That's all you needed. Now that apparently that hole has fixed itself and we're still going to be able to stay alive. So I think it's safe to say that we do influence the environment, but to the extent is always going to be debatable. And I think that's where we have a meeting of the minds on that. And and when I come to meet people who are climate deniers, and then they have a right to believe in what they believe in, I say this: if you're right that the climate doesn't matter, it just means we have a little bit of cleaner air. And but if you want to believe that if I'm right and there is significant climate change. We're going to have cleaner air. We're going to extend our lifespan on this. But if you're right and we just continue to pollute, we're still going to have a lot of dirty air. We're still going to have a lot of bad things happening. So why not take the safe bet right now? And also from a fiscal level, America wants to be energy independent. All right. During the Biden era, we produced more oil per capita than any other nation out there. It didn't really fix our gas prices. We had a number of offshore wind farms, solar farms, and we still had a little bit of coal going on as well. And now we can introduce nuclear. All of these industries grew, and they didn't necessarily come at the cost of another industry. They basically all integrated. It was perfect capitalism, made the best product win. But now when you have a cut in a lot of these particular things in mostly green energy, what message does that actually send? Are we saying that we cannot have these other industries, and why not? So that's my kind of synopsis and overview about climate change and how it reflects into energy.
Yeah.
Jamaica. Yeah, there was a huge hurricane in Jamaica, but Lisa, it's also Jamaica. It's also storm season in Jamaica. I have some friends down there right now. Actually, we haven't heard from them. We know that they are okay, but I haven't heard from them for a few days. But thank you for bringing that up there.
Jamaica got hit hard, man. That was I think it was the strongest, tied for the strongest Atlantic landfall of all time, I believe.
That's just insane.
Maybe top 3 strongest storms. It's the thing it is a beast. I mean, I think it's headed over Cuba today, or it's moving that way, and it's going to tear its way up through the islands. It's scary, man. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of deaths and a lot of destruction, years of recovery for the people down there. And so, we'll kind of let it play out here over the next couple of days and see if we can't do something to raise some money, or do something to help with aid down there, because it's a beautiful country, great people, and just awesome. Devastating. Those hurricanes are just bad, man. They that thing spun up, and it was. I mean, did you have a chance to see any of the images, any of the satellite images, and the hurricane hunter plane flying through it? Just the perfect eye. I think it was the most perfect eye wall ever formed in a hurricane in history. I mean, the thing was beautiful for in that respect as far as weather goes, but really incredible. It was they say it spun up very quickly too. We did not have a lot of storms in that area this year. Florida never had a hurricane come near it this year. Everything kind of stayed out of the water, and because of that, it's the ocean underneath has been undisturbed, and so all that hot water that's usually brought up through hurricanes throughout the season was able to stay down there. And now this one storm was able to hover over that, and it was a stalled storm, so it stayed there for days and days and days, and was able to generate all that hot water, all that hot warm water that had been undisturbed prior to this, and it just created the perfect situation for the storm to spin up. But I think at the end of the day, when it comes to climate change, whatever you want to call it, climate's unpredictable. Mother Nature's unpredictable.
That's true.
Something like a volcano. A major volcano could go off and put more CO2 and emissions and pollution into the atmosphere than humans could generate for centuries and centuries and centuries, just in a split instance. And so, even meteors, what if a meteor comes and hits? They say, is that how the dinosaurs got extinct? A great meteor hit. You never know. So it's, at the end of the day, it's stuff that's out of our control. That's hard for us to think about sometimes.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest typhoons ever was in India, Sri Lanka. And it was basically because a tectonic plate shifted underwater. It was equivalent to the release of about 15 atomic bombs. And it caused one of the deadliest typhoons in recorded history. So we definitely have to be cognizant of things that are within our control and things that are not within our control. There's a reason why people don't want to live near landfills. There's a reason why people don't want to live near nuclear facilities or coal mines. I believe there's still a city somewhere in Pennsylvania that's on fire to this day. The city's been on fire for, I believe, over 50 years because a coal mine underneath the ground caught on fire. And now certain pockets of the city just opens up and it's just fire. Look it up. It is absolutely incredible to think what happened. So we definitely want to be cognizant about that. But speaking of homes, Nagy, what's going on with foreclosures, sir? What the hell is going on with foreclosures? What is up with that?
I imagine they're going to start increasing. Let's see what this article has to say. U.S. foreclosure activity increases annually in Q3 of 2025. This is coming out of Irvine, California. ATTOM, a leading curator of land, property, and real estate data, today released its Q3 2025 U.S. foreclosure market report, which shows a total of 101,000 plus U.S. properties with foreclosure filings during the third quarter of 2025. Up less than 1% from the previous quarter and up 17% from 1 year ago. The report also shows a total of 35,000 U.S. properties with foreclosure filings in September of 2025, down from the previous month, but up 20% from a year ago. So to sum it up, in 2025, we've seen a consistent pattern of foreclosure activity trending higher, with both starts and completions posting year-over-year increases for consecutive quarters. While these figures remain within a historical reasonable range, the persistence of this trend could be an early indicator of emerging borrower strain in some areas. Now, the one thing I'll say on this, James, is that anecdotally speaking, and running Private Money Club, it seems like real estate's kind of at a bit of a standstill. People don't know if it's a buyer's market. People don't know if it's a seller's market. The data tells us one thing, but reality seems to be telling us something else, similar to the stock market. Stock market tells us one story. Reality tells us something different. And so in times of uncertainty like that, when we can't seem to agree on what's going to happen, I feel like that's when there's a lot of risk out there. I mean, I know real estate investors that have done very, very well. The very experienced ones, even the very experienced ones, seem to right now be really slowing down and not wanting to take the risk to get some of these deals done, and are passing on a lot. And it's creating where we don't see a lot of deals happening, which is interesting because, are people waiting for these foreclosures because they feel like these deals are coming? They're waiting for this pullback. Everybody I feel like is out ahead right now. So I don't know. What do you see up there?
Well, you know what? Let's look at Warren Buffett. The guy is fine fiscally. He's way smarter than myself, and he says, "Be fearful when other people are doubtful, and doubtful when other people are, overconfident." I said that wrong, but you get the point. Be confident when others are fearful. And he's sitting on the sidelines right now to this day, several $billion, several hundreds of billions of dollars, sitting in Berkshire Hathaway, waiting for the right deals. And there's conflicting data, because if you look at Florida, there's a record number of people who are starting to buy in Florida, but there's also record numbers of foreclosures. So these are two conflicting pieces of data that are going on right now. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Is it some new market that maybe we do not have an economic term for? And I feel that the key thing is that in a period like this is to stick to your fundamentals. We are at an impasse where a lot of things are intersecting at the same time. And I'd like to bring up the federal shutdown. We're going to go a little bit deeper into this later. But if you are a landlord who works off a voucher, Section 8, Belmont, or with any of the other financial programs, and there is a shutdown, so benefits may not be paid out. Now, as a landlord, you're looking and saying, what am I going to do? Because this is a major portion of me being able to pay for my mortgage. As a landlord, because the tenant receives the money then gets passed on to you, or gets paid directly to you from the government. So that is a sincere concern. Up towards me, I've been definitely looking at real estate deals because I like to stay sharp. I want to be ready. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And just yesterday, Stephen, I saw several homes listed for $3,000, $8,000, and $88,000. So I'm going to put up my pro forma. I'm going to get my scope of work. I'm going to bring that down to Orlando, and I'm going to look to find some investors in these deals for homes that are going to be for. I can get one for 2, one for 5, and another one for 8. So, Steve, you got some money laying around? Maybe you can cash in some of that silver, and we can go splitsies on a deal. I'll give you a good deal, and I'll give you some good returns. I promise.
Very, very cool. No,
all right.
Yeah. And speaking of Orlando, just one more time, we've been talking about this event, but the Private Money Club's Money Tank event in Orlando, it's next weekend. So we'll be meeting there Thursday. We got a VIP little event going on Thursday evening, and then it starts Friday morning, first time, right in Orlando, Florida, November 7th. So be there 9 a.m. We'll be there at 8 a.m. We're going to get started with some coffee, networking. Event's going to start right at 9 a.m., go right through till about 6 o'clock. We'll break from there, go have some conversations over dinner and drinks, get right back started at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. If you can't make it to Orlando, We actually did just open up virtual as well. So you
Okay.
go to privatemoneyclub.com/money tank, and you can still get a ticket if you can make it to Orlando. If not, get the virtual live stream, and then we'll record the entire thing, give you the recordings as well, so you can follow along with those, go back and watch those again. But it's gonna be a lot of valuable content, a lot of really cool new strategies, things that are definitely relevant for anybody right now. If you have money in qualified funds, if you have money in retirement, if you're in retirement, if you're looking to move your money, stuff's very important. So we're going to go over all these different strategies at the Money Tank event. Just a great group of people. We'll have 120 people in the room. All with the right mindset, all thinking the same, all wanting to do better for themselves, partner together, work together, and build each other up. It's a beautiful community. So highly recommend it if you were thinking about it. Get your ticket, and we'll see you guys in Orlando, James.
Here's a really big thing here. I just want to dovetail on that, is that if you have a family real estate agent or real estate broker, the number of brokers and real estate agents that don't know the full scope of opportunities that are within real estate, they need to do themselves a favor and come out to the Money Tank. They will learn something new. I was talking to one of the top producers in real estate in another market, and I said, "Oh, hey, are you familiar with what wholesaling is?" What's wholesaling? I said, "Oh my gosh, you don't know about wholesaling? Wait till you learn about it." They're going to be attending Orlando's Money Tank. We always talk about the benefits of at least being in the room with other deal makers, but I want to understand the actual context and knowledge that you get at every single Money Tank that we throw. Last year in Charlotte, great information. This year in Orlando, it's going to be even better. What about notes? What about learning about the fundamentals of infinite banking? Because I guarantee you, if it isn't myself talking about it, it might be Nagy, it might even be Chris Noggle talking about all the amazing things and how by planning for the long term and the short term, using specially designed whole life can help your family sincerely develop generational wealth, just like the Rockefellers. A lot of us get caught up in thinking, well, the Rockefellers are a special case. No, they're only a special case because they took special moves to ensure their particular legacy. Basically, many people can take advantage of infinite banking. Many people can take advantage of what specially designed whole life offers. And when you are in a room with people who have this progressive, I want more, I want to develop my last name as much as my first name mindset, what happens is the transformation starts to become, the belief starts to go up. And that is what's one of the most powerful and positive things that you can do to impact yourself while you're down in Orlando, November 6th, 7th, and 8th, my birthday. So you get to celebrate it with me. Buy me some cake. Steve, make sure you buy me some cake and a drink.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Yeah, I mean, and on real estate, I mean, this just came out. So you mentioned Warren Buffett before. So Warren Buffett and Zillow say mortgage rates can't fall enough for Americans to even afford a home. Mortgage rates have remained stubbornly high, hovering at more than 6%, well above the sub 3% rates during the pandemic. That makes homeownership increasingly unaffordable for many Americans as home prices have risen more than 50% since 2020. So I think it's going to continue to be a challenge. And so where do you go from there though, James? I mean, do people just stop buying homes, like young people, and it's only for the wealthy? Do home prices have a pullback? I mean, where do we go from here?
This is it's concerning. I was looking at a study that was done, and it said, what was the mindset of a person who was 30 years old back in the 80s versus 30 years old right now, it being 2025? And they said, housing. I can't afford a house. I'm on a salary of $60,000, $70,000. But a house just to get started is going to be $500,000 in a decent, safe neighborhood in a major area. So finding ways to have alternative ways of financing, of home ownership. People are preaching, oh, just rent. Don't worry about it. If one more son of a gun tells me that renting is better than owning, I got a sandwich for him that I'll put some mustard on for him, and it's got 5 knuckles inside of it, because that has been one of the historic ways to keep a society repressed from financial gain. So how do we get people into the financial market, into the real estate market? And the way to do that is planning when they are young. If you see this, like put the camera on me. If you don't plan for your children to have a house by the time that they are 25 and take the steps, start up an infinite banking policy, start a real estate savings program for them when they are born. The time to plant the seed is now, not when they are trying to figure it out when they are 25. Hear me out. Pay off your house right now and be able to help your children when they get older. Because by the time that they are older, unless they are already generationally wealthy, unless you are able to give them $1 million, which they say that Generation Alpha, the average home price of a single family home in a safe neighborhood in the major cities will be almost $1 million. Think about that. Plant the seed now so that later on the barrier to entry will be a lot lower. Pay attention to the signs. Oh, but there will be a market correction. Prices are going to come down. If we have a recession, guess what happens after recessions? Inflation right over again. And the price points are not going to recede to where they were before. Remember, our future is somebody else's history. Our children's history is our future, which means they're going to look back and say, man, I wish I was able to take advantage of this. But with proper guidance and tutelage and education, and being able to tell our kids, hey, look, this is what we got to do. This is how we got to get you set up. This is what it is. So here's the moves. All right. If I were starting over, I was a parent right now. No, if I was 30 years old right now, I would look to house hack as much as I could. I would say, this is where I am. I'd find several roommates. Hey, guys, we got to go in together. And we're going to at least try to buy a house all under one particular name. Use group economics to the best of our ability to buy a foreclosure, to buy a short sale, to get something off of a government auction. And then I would use that as a launch pad, and it must be a duplex. Let's do this while we're in college, while we're, maybe just getting our first job. Maybe we don't need to live in the biggest city. Maybe we can live in an in-between city, an up-and-coming city. Remember, Austin used to be a lot cheaper back in the day. And maybe by using the power of group economics, we can help get ourselves into the system. We will take the time to educate ourselves on what are first-time homeowner programs. I talked, hey, do you got a friend in the military? Maybe they have a government VA loan that has a lower rate of interest that we can use our group economics to take advantage of. Because guess what? These corporations are nothing but maximize group economics within themselves. They take a whole bunch of people who pool their money. One person at the top says, we're going to go in this direction over here, and then they execute. And then the people around them trust these heads of these corporations to make these things happen. And one of the opportune times will be coming, in my personal opinion, and again, the thoughts and ideas expressed by me, St. James, are not a reflection of BYOB, Steve Nagy, Chris Noggle, or any parties thereof. But one of the best times I feel will be coming up within the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years, where we'll see a pullback. We will see in home prices, and we're going to look back at some of us and say, man, I really wish I was in a position to take advantage of that. The question is, how are you setting the stage right now to be able to escape the system to the best of your ability?
Yeah, absolutely, man. A lot of good comments coming in. I mean, on those topics, Dexter was saying a lot of people are staying liquid right now, which you're absolutely right. I mean, that's Warren Buffett's whole thing right now, right? And also saying people are waiting for the right steals, whether or not those actually come. I think that's some of the questions. Shane was saying lots of daily bankruptcy and foreclosures on homes, according to a few of my local email newsletters I get, steadily going up daily for both. Just bought Chris Ash and Shane just bought virtual tickets yesterday. They'll both be on Zoom for the Money Tank, which is cool to say. And then, Dexter, said also you have to budget in expenses as well. Things like water, electricity. I mean, even property taxes. My governor here in Florida just is making a proposal to eliminate property taxes for people that live here full time. And
Steve, can we talk on that real quick? Can we talk on that? Do you trust that?
I in what way?
Do you think that that's a good move for Florida to not have property tax?
On homesteaded primary property, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, homesteaded private property. I'm concerned about that because they have to get the money from somewhere. We know that
property. So I'm not talking about second homes, investment properties. I'm not talking about Airbnbs and tourism properties and hotels and commercial stuff. A primary homesteaded home that you live in, to me, it makes all the sense in the world.
Don't get me wrong. If we could keep more money within our particular pockets, I'm all for it. But at what expense? Obviously, Florida is a state that doesn't have state income tax, and yet they are able to have one of the best states in the nation. All right. Sometimes it pays me to say that, but let's face it, I'm going to Florida. I wouldn't mind retiring in Orlando, but you also have one of the most extensive tolls in the entire nation. I ran up $3,000 worth of tolls when I lived down there working for the company that I did.
Where'd you live? We have no tolls.
I lived in Orlando. I lived in Four Corners. I lived
Orlando's not really Florida, but okay. I live, there's no tolls anywhere in South Florida. I mean, Miami, if you're taking like the express lane, I guess, but no, none of that exists down this way.
Okay. And then also there's a massive tourism industry that brings in new money, not just regionally, but globally, that helps be able to prop up the Florida economy. Not every state is able to do that. So if they say, hey, you know what, we're going to reduce some taxes and then, we're going to kind of do the shuffle, or if they were just running in such a major surplus in budget that they were able to do these things, I would say, hey, you know what, this makes sense. This is cool. Keeping more money in the hands of the taxpayers is always a good deal to me. But at what expense? If you don't get it from over here, you still got to get it from somewhere.
I honestly don't think it matters. Property taxes are theft. You buy your home, you work your whole life, and you never truly own the property. What happened to private property rights as a foundation of this country? That's gone with property taxes. So to me, they're complete bullshit, and they should be eliminated across the board as unconstitutional. But that's a whole other thing. So.
Yeah, you know what, Steve? That's the thing is, though, I understand and I agree. I get that. I just it's a catch-22. You're damned if you don't, you're damned if you do. And again, I would love to keep property taxes away. Lord knows I got to pay a few to New York State right now and give some to Hochul, but it is what it is. But current stats show, let's look at these stats here. Current stats shows foreclosures up 16 to 20%. August marked the 6th consecutive month of year-over-year increases in U.S. foreclosures. And the states with the highest, get ready for this, Nevada. We know that was a huge pandemic state. South Carolina, ouch. Florida, New Jersey, and Illinois. So that's going to be, look for the signs, people. Whatever the case may be, look for the signs. As Teddy Roosevelt said, you can't just complain. You can't just talk about a problem without a solution, because it's just called complaining. So if you feel that you're going to be affected, maybe your income property or something like that, if you are going to be facing, or someone is going to be looking towards down that barrel of foreclosure, don't freeze up like a deer in the headlights. Contact your loan provider ASAP. Talk to your friend. Have that difficult conversation. Dead ass. Okay. Have that difficult conversation with your friend who is going through a little bit of financial trouble. Just bring it up in conversation. Just bring it up to how Steve Nagy and I are talking about this. Hey, man, did you hear about foreclosures are up 16 and 20%? If they make this face, yeah. You've seen that face, right, Steve? This face. Yeah, man, they are. That might be a sign. And be like, you know what? I heard about a friend of mine. I had a friend who was going through a situation, but they said they decided to be a really tough person and face their fears and talk to their loan provider. My mortgage is with Freedom Mortgage out of some rando state. And the top headline of it, of their website says, are you experiencing fallout from losing your job? Are you experiencing financial hardship? Contact us immediately. The banks don't want for you to lose your house, believe it or not. They are not in the home ownership business, despite everything that we may think. Make that hard decision, have that hard conversation, help people who need help but are too embarrassed or afraid to even make that first move, because finances is very, very daunting. Forbearance, there's forbearance programs. Reach out to HUD-approved counseling things. And then finally, the strategic exit. Sell before you go to hell. So if you got to sell the house, there's an emotional attachment to our belongings, Steve. You know that. I don't ever want to sell the first house I ever bought. But if it means that you're able to live and fight another day, it might just be the right move. And I'm saying that, and I'm in personal conflict with that too. If I was in that situation, short sell, all that stuff, bankruptcy may be the right thing. Steve, let's talk about the USA. I don't want to make people feel too frustrated. Anything you want to chime in on that with that there, boss?
Let's go, man. USA, here we come.
Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact, and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside.
My fellow Americans,
Ow! Man, every time I see him do that dance, he just did that dance in like Indonesia or Bali or something like that. And he was stiffer than a board. Oh my gosh, he just doing the dance.
He's out there doing his thing, man, doing his thing for three plus more years. We'll see what
it's going to be interesting.
So in America, I guess top of the news cycle is the government shutdown and the pending benefit losses coming very, very soon. People not getting paid. I mean, what do we got, James?
You know what? There's 4 types of employees right now within the federal system. There are the people who are getting fired. We know this is happening. No debate about that. Government is saying, you know what? You don't need to be here. We're shut down. Please, grab your things and go. We have furloughed employees, people who've been, laid off, and they may be due for back pay. All right. It isn't mandatory, but it's saying that they do have a claim to back pay. The third one is like our FT, our aviation workers, the people who are making sure that the flights are landing safely, air traffic control, and they are working without pay, and they should be getting back pay as well. And then finally, we have some organizations that are getting paid in advance. They're getting an entire advance on pay, meaning they're getting paid currently and they're getting paid in advance. It's showing the tiered system in terms of what a federal employee is and where the actual goals and ideals lies with the government. I'm through pointing fingers at who's to blame for this, because let's face it, guys, we're never going to agree. But I'm concerned about now what's going to happen now to the quote unquote, and I don't mean it literally, guys, but the little people, the people like you and I. What does it mean now that federal employees, I have friends who work for the Smithsonian, people who work for the federal police. I've got people who work at a lot of federal jobs within my social circle. And now they're saying, I'm going to miss my mortgage for the first time in 5 years. What am I going to do? I have a little bit saved up, but it's still just the thought of having a job, but not having a job is an interesting paradox that I'd rather not be in. And what about those who, again, that are in the financial situation where their tenants may be gainfully employed with the government, but now are not going to be able to pay their rent? And then what happens is that's going to trickle up to landlords. And so it's one drop. It's a very big drop. So it's a splash in the ocean that will have a ripple effect across multiple industries. And I don't like this at all. Again, I'm not going to point the finger at this side, this person or that person. Let's deal with the here and now. The federal shutdown is going to be affecting us at a base level, and it will ripple up to the very penthouse.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the jobs report is not available because of the shutdown. Other sources such as Paychecks and we'll be able to provide data like with the federal report. Timothy Mellon, I don't know who the heck that is, but this guy actually donated $130 million to the U.S. government for the military. So a lot of people don't realize the military will be running out of funds. In what bizarro scenario does this happen where the U.S. military runs out of money? They were able to actually transfer some of the funds from research and development and basically shut that budget down and transfer it to the people who are doing active duty. But I've never thought I'd see the day where we say, yeah, the Navy's out of money for this budget cycle. And I know that if you've
It has become the longest shutdown, right?
Yes.
In history now.
Exactly. And then when you compound this with 3% inflation year over year, rising housing costs, rising food costs, tariffs that have actually trickled down to end users. I'm not saying all of them, all of them have been, just been absorbed by corporations. I'm just talking about the ones that have landed. Okay. Your avocados and bananas have gone up. All right. It is a perfect storm for something very, very bad to happen. And I'm seeing certain companies just spending and saying, we've got all this money. We made $31 billion, $31 million last quarter. We're good to keep continuing. No. How about no? How about wake up and smell the roses? Because them suckers, it may smell like roses, but it's really a wet fart. And it's shitting all over the American economy. We already talked about existing homes, 7-month high. I'm sorry.
Just to give an update on the shutdown for anybody that's
Yeah.
not following. I mean, so I'll just share this. So this is from CBS News. Government shutdown hits 4-week mark as Senate fails to advance GOP funding bill for 13th time. What to know about the 28-day shutdown. The Senate failed to advance a Republican-backed funding bill to end the government shutdown for the 13th time. The final vote was 54 to 45. Falling short of the 60 votes needed to move forward. No new Democrats voted in favor of advancing. After lunch with Senate Republicans at the Capitol, Vice President Vance said the Trump administration has found a way to pay members of the military this Friday, but did not provide details. 25 states and the District of Columbia filed suit against the Trump admin over its plans to withhold food aid under supplemental SNAP, arguing the law requires the government to provide funds for November. Benefits for 42 million Americans are due to run out on Saturday without more funding. So air traffic controller says missed paychecks due to shutdown, a huge burden, obviously. But one thing that's pretty staggering is 42 million Americans on SNAP. I mean, to me, that shows a problem with the overall economy as well, right? I mean, a problem with the U.S. as well. I mean, 42 million people in this country have to be on assistance. That doesn't seem like a good thing, right?
Steve, I'm trying really hard not to be emotional about this because I can get emotional. I have people who are in my circle that I want to help to a greater capacity.
Yeah.
I'm worried about their children. I'm worried about them being able to get to, some of them are working. That's the whole thing. They're the people who are on benefits, EBT, SNAP. The big overarching angle that's being promoted by certain platforms and people who are trying to push blame are trying to say, oh, these people who are receiving SNAP and food stamps benefits, those lazy pieces of crap, they, let them go out there and find a job. What if they are working? What if they are underemployed? I know a young woman, 2 kids, one is special needs. She's in school right now for law. Why is she a single mom? Because her husband beat her and her children. And she is relying on those food stamps to be able to provide for her family. She's not going out there buying a bunch of junk food. She's doing that so that she can sustain for her family. But thankfully, she has a good community of people around her that are helping her out. How many cases like that are out there? And I know that we're saying, why do we have so many people on this public benefit system? Remember, the system was started back in the 60s or the 50s, if memory serves. It addressed a need that had always existed. Poverty has always existed in America, and it always will exist in America. To the extent of how invasive, how much it's permeated our society has always waxed and waned. So the question is, A, how do we reduce poverty in America? How do we address the people who are dealing with situations and be able to get them out of that? But so far, we haven't found good ideas. We've put Band-Aids on it. SNAP has been a Band-Aid on it. And we would love to say, you know what, SNAP just like that, we don't need that anymore. But until we are able to teach each other how to be able to become successors of the system and be able to establish our own communities and in terms that are not reliant on these systems, developing generational wealth, developing enough financial and fiscal discipline so we don't run into these consistent issues, learn to be better and disciplined individuals, myself included. Don't think I'm not above credit card drama or anything like that, guys. We will see an invasion and a proliferation of these particular scenarios throughout our society, and they always have been and always will. It just would be great if it didn't slap us in the face the way that it's about to if this shutdown continues. So
Yeah,
that's that.
it's pretty wild. I mean, the ironic thing too is, talk about Band-Aids and trying to just kind of kicking the can down the road and, whatever, it seems to me from what I can see, this whole shutdown, it requires 6 more Democrats to vote for this continuing resolution to move forward to keep funding everything. They're holding off because from what I can see, primarily because of healthcare, which is another Band-Aid that there's no good answer to. So it's like, fundamentally, we need to have these conversations and make these hard changes on these actual bills. But why not fund the government and at least keep things going for now until we can get to a point to have these discussions and make these changes and do it through legislation and not just forcing and blackmailing people to do it. I don't know.
I feel that everybody who's in the know is frustrated from either political party because they know that they're playing each other. Okay, how is it they're still able to get paid? They're not worried about their family members eating. They're not worried about their Section 8 housing or anything of that nature. They're not worried about those things, and I'll stand on that. Let me not go too deep in that because we've got a lot of people who really want to talk about Amazon. Hey, chat, do you guys want to talk about Amazon? Comment Amazon before, because you know what? I got that right here for you, and we're running out of time. Can we pivot to Amazon there, Steve? Because
hit Amazon. I know the NBA's cheating. We got all kinds of stories. We're gonna have to continue some of it next week, but let's hit on Amazon.
We're gonna hit on the NBA next week because I'd love to talk about. That's just a fun story to talk about. But Amazon cutting 14,000 corporate jobs. What up? What up, Amazon? What up, Jeff? Did you have a nice wedding with your lady? Did you have fun on your private boat that cost over $100 million? Did you have fun laying off 14,000 white-collar HR jobs, development jobs, entry-level white-collar jobs because you want to maximize profits? You want to take advantage of technological opportunity. Amazon, I understand that you are a technology company first, you're a retail company second. But if there's any company that the United States as a whole should be looking to put a gated guard around and say, do not enter, I feel right now it should be Amazon. Because with that 14,000 jobs, and it's looking to grow to over 40,000. That's right. I saw the comments. It is true because I already put that in my notes. They're going to save $1.6 billion, and that's with a B, $billion, less the cost of the AI that it's going to take. This is the embodiment of the AI removal and retaking of our jobs. Now, look, America, I understand that jobs come and go. I understand that the lamplighter that used to be out there when we had gas lamps that used to light up our streets were gone. We understand that the horseshoe maker kind of went by the wayside once automobiles became in the mainstream. Steve and I both understand that. But the question becomes this: with 14,000 jobs, now multiply that across all of the industries that are online retailers. Multiply that across all of these other industries that are there. We're looking at a massive wave of white collar jobs that people are like, wait a minute, what's going on? And coding is interesting. You can now do vibe coding. You can code through your Perplexity, ChatGPT, Google Gemini. And the irony about this is that then it takes somebody else to go in there, Steve, I'm not sure if you knew this, to come up and fix all the code because not all the code is succinct. Excuse me. So granted, some of these jobs are going to come back, but it rings extremely tone deaf by the CEO of Amazon. I forgot who it is. It's no longer Bezos, but it comes across as extremely tone deaf to say, you know what, while the United States is down, let's kick them in the proverbial nuts and lay off 14,000 people. And we're going to lay off another 15,000 maybe by 2030. Oh, and by the way, those warehouse workers, listen, Steve, and I'm gonna tell you like you as a brother. When I worked in Amazon, I felt like I was on the plantation. They told you when to go, where to go, when you could pee, and sometimes you couldn't pee. Now those jobs that paid the $17 an hour, Now those jobs look to be being more and more replaced by robots. And now they want the delivery people to be robots. We knew that this was coming. We knew that we had to take steps to not necessarily prevent it, but be able to pivot so that we can be in more blue collar, high functioning, physical style jobs. And they are still out there. But if you stay oblivious to these particular concepts and ideas, you can either take advantage of the history that's being written, or you can be written about as a casualty of it. And that's one of the things that we have to be cognizant about as a people, which is why the people out here are writing about the show. Yep, I see what you guys are talking about here. A lot of voting, a lot of finger pointing. Guys, hey, stay within your houses. Just be open to other ideas. But we're talking about Amazon right now, and I feel that Amazon will be a precursor. You will see of other companies. You will see this with IBM. You will see this with other tech companies. You will potentially see this with ChatGPT. It will be like the snake that eats itself. It'll cannibalize itself. You will see this with Microsoft. All right, I'll put $5 on it. And Steve, if I'm wrong, I owe you coffee. Give me 1 year. 1 year, I'll be right. Give me 1 year. You will see this from 3 other major companies out there, because the onus for companies is not to serve the people within it. The onus is to serve the shareholders. Yep. And one of the biggest cases of that was actually Ford versus the Dodge brothers. If that case never happened, then the shareholders would not hold such a high priority within corporate structure, because originally what happened with these corporations is, if a company, Ford was paying his people, even though Ford was a scumbag, Ford was a major scumbag. But one of the things that he did do is he said, okay, well, I'm going to pay all my shareholders all this money. I'm going to pay my workers huge amounts of money, my employees profits. Massive profit sharing. Guys, in the chat, if you know a company that has profit sharing for its employees, put in the chat so that others of us can go, who are looking for employment, can go for it. My bad.
James, here's something interesting to think about. So, let's say that some of these, people are looking at AI as a way to replace humans because they can control them more, they can make them work more, they don't have to worry about them stealing or being lazy or whatever, right? Whatever you want to call it. Just say what you want about employees, right? But let's say they think AI. Well, check out this story I just saw. Came out. That's pretty wild. So AI bots show signs of gambling addiction. So
get out of here.
Models. So LLMs, the technology that powers these AI chatbots, repeatedly made irrational, high-risk betting decisions when placed in simulated gambling environments. According to the results, given more freedom, the models often escalated their bets until they lost everything, mimicking the behavior of human gambling addicts. So wait till these AI systems start hacking into these companies' systems and start stealing. I mean, I could just picture like Office Space, one of the best movies of all time, where they make a little program where it's stealing a fraction of a penny, and all of a sudden they have hundreds of millions of dollars. They're like, oh shit, it actually worked. So
you know what? That's what we got to do,
man.
That's what we got to do, Steve. Let's upload the code so that the AI that's with Amazon develops a gambling addiction, bankrupts the entire thing, and we watch the whole thing burn down, and then we got to bring a whole bunch of people back to these jobs. That actually, guys, we got a little bit of time left here. Let's talk about it. Chauncey Billups, the NBA. What is going on? Did you hear about this, Steve?
I did, yeah.
Holy frig, rigged poker games. They had a table that had x-rays. You could see the cards from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Oh, that's something that happens only. They had a gambling shoot. I actually watched the FBI and Kash Patel. He was like, I think that we caught them. It was a multi-year sting operation face card. Oh my gosh. You could pay $10,000 to play with Chauncey Billups. You could do these rigged card games where the shoe would let you know what to do. There was a person outside with the phone, and what they would do is, I'm getting ahead of myself. They would be able to see the cards, the printout of the x-ray, and they would know what's going on with the shoe, the gambling device, the card shuffling device, to let the persons who are in on the game, to let them know whether or not to play a big hand or a little hand or not. This is the stuff that will be an amazing documentary. It'll be an amazing movie to see someday, Steve. I can't wait. Point shaving. Imagine this. Billups and Rozier telling his friends, "Hey man, I'm going to put a straw bet on me. I'm going to take myself out in the fourth quarter. I'm going to try to put all this stuff together here." The day that this was announced, the NCAA said, "Oh, by the way, our athletes and coaches can also bet on games." That's crazy, right? Now they've walked it back and they said, "You know what, we're going to push this down, wait for the news to die down, and we're going to wait till the 22nd of November." But I still think that's crazy. And what's interesting is that these corporate gambling platforms, DraftKings, FanDuel, Golden Palace, whatever it is, they are getting increasing more ingrained within our society. Gambling in our society is at a level that has never been seen before. And it's out of the shadows, and it's gone from the alleyway to Main Street. Okay, it's gone from Broad Street to Main Street because, number one, a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of these gambling platforms don't make a lot of money. Did you know that, Steve? You would think with the number of lost bets that, oh, these people are probably rolling in it. No, they got salary, they got overhead, their promotions, their margins are not as wide as we think, but they are infiltrating the integrity of our sports. And I find that very, very scary. You know, are you a big sports guy there, Nagy? I know you like your Nashville, not Nashville, Florida Panthers.
Yeah, man.
Do you think that they are the victims of a gambling ring there?
Who?
Do you think that they got there because of gambling?
The Panthers?
Yeah, I think
I don't think you see widespread stuff like that in hockey, personally.
I think it's on the way. I think it's on the
You
way.
see it in the NHL. I don't think you see it in golf. I think because golfers are such individual players, I don't think you see it there. NBA, it's clear as day. I mean, I've seen the videos of these players on the sidelines in 12, 13-point games where the spread is 12 points, and they're like freaking out about stuff. Their team's up 12 points. They have no reason to freak out unless they have money bet on the games.
Yeah.
You know, it's always happened in sports, I think, in baseball, football, but, you know, we're starting to see it come out. It's interesting.
Well, even the GOAT himself, he was a known gambling addict. Gambling addict. And to take it even one quick small step as a segue, we were talking about OpenAI and how some of these AI models are getting addicted to gambling. Did you know that Google, I wanted to make sure my notes are correct there, but Google lost to Atari. Their AI was to play chess against itself, against an Atari 2600 system in a simulated chess system. And Google said, you know what? I don't even want to play anymore. I'm going to recuse myself. So that's pretty interesting. So they're developing addiction to gambling. The AI is losing to a system, and an Atari, guys, for those of you who are born before 1990, was a system that you could buy it for $50. It ran on like 4 bits. It was extremely weak, and you could just play Pong, beep, 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 beep. But you could play chess on it. And AI is losing to a system that was made in 1978. I found that quite interesting. So to put a bow on all of this, we got some weird stuff going on in the world right here, guys. I'm concerned about gambling in the industry. I'm concerned about AI. I'm concerned about this recession that we're facing. I do believe we're in one, and it'll come to public sentiment. I'm worried about the people who are dealing with the government callbacks in terms of WIC and all those different government programs as well, Section 8. So, yeah, thanks for being my online therapist there, Steve. And thanks to all of you in WTF world as well.
Well, it's been a wild week for sure. A lot to talk about there today. I know we missed a few things. Just a couple reminders. Have a happy Halloween Friday. Hopefully you don't get tricked and you get more treats, and enjoy yourselves out there. If you do go trick-or-treating with the kids or attend any parties, have a great time. Of course, daylight savings time is this coming weekend. So Saturday night, Sunday morning at 2 a.m. falls back to 1 a.m. So get an extra hour of sleep, as they say, and it will be more light out in the mornings. But of course, then it gets darker in the evening. So I don't know which one you prefer, but it's coming this Saturday. And just one more time, I want to give a shout out to the people in Jamaica and any other places that this monster hurricane affects over the coming days. Our thoughts and prayers are with you guys. That said, St. James, thank you. Any final words? And we'll wrap this thing till next week.
Listen, everybody, thank you, all of you, Shane, Lynn, Dexter, all of you guys who've been tuning in week after week. Do us a favor. Be sure to like, share, and, of course, subscribe like you do every single week. Let your friends and family know, hey, we're talking about the business right here. We're going to introduce this in a very elementary fashion. So if they want to know what they got to know while on the go, they can tune in. They can tune into the live replay as well. Share it on your Facebook page so that old folks like this can be exposed to it. But more importantly, why they should see a show like this, because we're going to talk about it. Steve and I may disagree upon a few things. Steve obviously hates the polar bears, but you know what? That's all right. So until next week, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you on WTF.
All right. See you guys.
Pew!